You're listening to the Hope Not Nope podcast
with Doc Dylan
and Brandy.
We empower high performers with a 3-part strategy of hope,
Self-agency, goals, and proven frameworks,
so that you can reach your potential
and the highest quality of life. How's it going? This episode, our listener named Tyler asks, I enjoy the podcast and wanted to bring this question about testosterone supplements. The reason I'm asking is for quality of life, and it's typically said for men over 40, testosterone levels drop. And that could be why I feel low energy and fatigue. Is low testosterone the cause, and are the supplements helpful?
Ooh, it's like a 2-parter.
Yeah, a little Doc Dylan testosterone. Let's chat.
Testosterone Tyler.
Yeah, testosterone Tyler.
Coming in.
Yeah.
All right. So first question, can low testosterone levels decrease energy levels? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does testosterone start to drop after the age of 40? The science on this, the longitudinal studies, does show that that happens. It doesn't mean that it happens for every single person when they hit 40 that this is going to occur. It just tends to happen. And I don't think it's necessarily an age thing itself. I think it's the responsibilities that come as you start to get older. We know as you get older, there's more responsibilities. There's more things that you're in charge of. There's more traumas that come up. You start losing some loved ones. A lot happens as you start to get older.
Just stressors in general.
Just stressors in general. And the reason I say that is because before we get to the supplement question, and I'm thinking of like Nugenics and like Doug Flutie and Frank the Big Hurt Thomas coming on and like, beat Father Time, boost your testosterone with this pill. So we'll get to that. Mm-hmm. But before we get to that and the practices that can help naturally, because we have a lot of athletes that ask this question of, hey, I'm low energy. I just feel fatigued all the time. I'm not getting the best out of my system that I want to. If low testosterone is the thing, then I'll just take the supplement and do that. And we won't discuss testosterone replacement therapy because that's something different, right? That's the sense of like you're medically being supervised. They look at your levels and then they replace it based off of that level truly being low. And they're looking at a true blood panel to see where that's at. So I think that would be a different discussion than talking about supplements and the first question of like, is this true basically? Like if I have low testosterone, then can I be fatigued and all that? And so the answer to that one is yes. But before the practices, I think we need to understand the physiology just a little bit before diving into that. And so it's going to get a little bit sciencey.
All right.
But I think it's going to be helpful science. And then we'll pull back away from that. So people don't walk away going like, I didn't come to this for a biology lesson or a neuroscience lesson.
But teach us a little bit.
So testosterone is a hormone. For a hormone to be produced, there's a target organ in the human body that produces that particular hormone. For males, the testosterone production is in the testes. So we're going to stick kind of in that lane. For that organ to produce the hormone, there has to be a signaling hormone that tells it, hey, it's time to produce this. And for that hormone to tell this target area to do that, it has to be told to do that. So we're going to go through that chain really quickly from the top down. So in the brain, there's an area called the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus works on feedback loops. Basically, it gets information from the rest of the sensory system in the human body, and based off of that feedback decides which of these motions am I going to put in action? Not in the sense of movement, but what hormone am I going to release to tell the next thing to be released and then tell this thing to be produced? Good so far? Mm-hmm. All right. So in the hypothalamus, it releases a hormone called gonadotrophin releasing hormone that then signals the pituitary gland to release a hormone called luteinizing hormone. And then that reaches down to the testes that says it's time to produce more testosterone. So that's the loop. Mm-hmm. Now, the system works off of negative and positive feedback loops, meaning that if certain things are low, it recognizes that it's low, so then it increases production to bring it back up. But it has to balance all the other hormones in the body, and it has to make decisions of where the energy budget is going to go. So in the system, what inhibits that gonadotropin releasing hormone to then go to the pituitary gland to release luteinizing hormone to then go to the testes to say, hey, make testosterone, is cortisol. Cortisol is our chronic stress hormone. If you have elevated levels of cortisol, testosterone production is decreased because that whole loop is being inhibited. Just taking a supplement is not going to be the answer to fix that feedback loop. What is going to be the answer, and what we recommend to the athletes that we work with, is, hey, can we take care of the natural things first, kind of the foundation of human performance? See if we can find ways to decrease overall chronic stressors, bring the cortisol down. When the cortisol is lessened, then the testosterone is able to be produced more. So that's the physiology before the practice. The other last thing I'll say in this too is that there are specific cells that produce testosterone, and they're called the Leydig cells. And cortisol can help to directly inhibit those from producing. And also, the hormone of testosterone and cortisol is based on cholesterol. Cholesterol is the building block of these hormones. So if there's cortisol in the system and it has to choose between making testosterone or making cortisol, what is that going to be dependent on? Well, a lot of factors, but one of the biggest factors is going to be, are we in a chronic stress state? If we are in a chronic stress state, the cholesterol that we have, we are going to use that to make cortisol, not to make testosterone. So it inhibits the full feedback loop, and it inhibits the direct production of it.
Gotcha.
So that's physiology. I'll pause there, see if there's any questions.
Science.
That's boom, 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 a lot of keywords.
I followed it to the gravity that I'm able without a science background.
Perfect. Perfect. So now with understanding that, we look at, well, how do we naturally start to decrease cortisol? Because again, stress itself isn't bad.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's the inability to adapt to the stressors that you're facing that produces chronic stress. And that chronic stress becomes, I'll just say, not good. It becomes not good for the system.
Well, yeah, I was going to say it affects the body in a more grave way than when you are able to adapt.
Right, because I'm stuck in the science terms now, but it produces more of a catabolic state instead of an anabolic state. Anabolic state is where there's growth and function and improvements. Catabolic state is quite the opposite of that. So we have to look at these practices before going to these supplements and say, well, what are these things in life that I can pull the lever on to help decrease chronic stress, which then is going to decrease cortisol. And now we get into the conversation of men over the years of 40 years old. And again, there's more stressors. So there's more things that you have to be intentional about. And I think, we say, hey, don't take that at face level, but I think anyone listening can go, yeah, no, when I was 15, I think I had less responsibilities than I do at 40 or 50 or 60.
Right.
Like there just more things come onto your plate. So we have to be more intentional and specific with what we're doing to make sure that we're adapting to the stress well. Number one, before Doug Flutie was with Nugenics, he was on the Wheaties box. And the reason I say that is energy balance. If you are putting out way more calories than what you are taking in, you're going to be in a chronic stress state. You're going to be in energy deficiency. When you're in energy deficiency, the system goes, this is stressful. It's going to release more cortisol. The other side of that, if you're in too much of a caloric surplus, like you're overeating all the time, that's also going to bring you into a state of being chronically stressed. So you have to figure out, hey, what nutrition do you need? What is your maintenance level, depending on what your goals are, to make sure that you're not in a chronic energy deficiency, but you're also not too far into a surplus over and over and over again. And the reason I say that is I know some guys are going to hear that and be patting their belly and going, oh, no problem there. we got that taken care of. But it's the other side too of like too much of this can become stressful on the system. It's like anything. Too little is not good. Too much of it's not good. So you got to find the energy balance that's based on what are the things that you have to accomplish in a day and what are the things that you want to accomplish um, athletically or in your career, and kind of a side box, but we won't go too far into this. This is why it's like you don't drop food groups.
Yeah.
Like we've said it time and time again, like you need carbs.
Hmm.
Your brain functions off of glucose. You need carbs in your system. You need protein and you need fats. Guess what the building block in the cholesterol is? Fat.
Hmm.
So if you're low in testosterone and now you're not eating any type of fat whatsoever, where's your body going to get this from? That you need all these three food groups. You need fats, you need carbs, you need protein. You're going to need them in different percentages based off of what your goals are, but you need these three food groups.
Yeah.
Unless there's a medical reason as to why you're not having them, you should be having them, or a religious reason as to why you're not having them.
Sure.
But as a baseline, if that is not the case, you need to be getting these three food groups, making sure that you're not eating too little and it makes sure you're not eating too much.
Hmm.
So that's one lever. The other lever is that you're getting deep sleep. Something that I think as people get older, they don't do a great job of because of the responsibilities and not adapting well to it. The biggest surge of testosterone happens when we're in deep sleep. If you're not getting deep sleep, you're not getting a surge of testosterone, which means you're starting the day already in a deficit of what the production could have been if you got that deep sleep. So again, the building blocks of human performance, nutrition, quality sleep, right? Then there's a third lever that we can start pulling, and that one is physical activity. It's strength training. But wait a minute. Doesn't strength training just create another stress that you then have to grow from and adapt to? The difference is that the stimulus of the stress in strength training isn't a long-term cortisol release.
Mm.
The long-term cortisol happens when you're not getting the input, you're not getting the calories back in, and you're not recovering well to that, which is the energy deficiency, which we talked about in the first point. So training, moving weights is good for the system. The system produces testosterone in resistance training and strength training. And then another one, this is one of my favorite studies of all time. And when I say it to people, they think that I'm joking, and I'm not. There's research on this. The best activity to improve testosterone levels when they peak the most was chopping firewood. Sharpen the axe,
Let's
swing this thing
go.
around, split some wood in two.
Put on a flannel.
It's like there's one, it's a high level activity.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, that's no joke.
chopping wood is you're putting out a lot of effort to do that. I know some people go, yeah, with your swing you are.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe sharpen your axe so you don't have to swing as hard. No, it doesn't matter the size of the log. It's splitting this thing in two, swinging as hard as I can. Like that's how you got to do it. But in doing that, the research, it was kind of funny. They were, they postulate as to why this happened. So one was because of the activity itself. Two was they pointed to the evolutionary wiring of the male brain
Mm.
of chopping wood being a provider.
Mm.
Like I chop wood. This creates heat. Heat is warm. Family likes warm. Food is good. We cook on the fire and food is good. I did good as a man. So they said it way more eloquent than that, but
But that
paraphrasing,
basically.
that was the basic thing. So I do joke around, but it opens up the conversation of like, hey, what does your activity look like?
Hmm.
And I'm not saying like, hey, things that are manlier will improve testosterone, so go eat a raw steak and do this or do that. It's what are you doing that's purposeful?
Yeah.
And in what you're doing that is purposeful, you're also getting in some high intensity movement at some point in your week. Like
Hmm.
that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But the chop and firewood opens up that conversation.
Right.
So
Gotcha.
yeah.
I feel like with all the information you provided, my biggest takeaway is that there's not an easy button to this.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of times some people are looking for the easy button of if I just take the supplement, is it going to produce the result that I want? And the reality is like, not really. You need to do other stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's why at Hope Not Nope we enjoy the people we work with so much because they're not necessarily looking for an easy button. They're looking for how do I get the highest quality of life and perform slash live at my highest potential. And a little supplement, taking a pill is not the hope not nope style, I guess.
Yeah, and you know, I think a lot of times what brings people to that is that they've tried it.
Mm-hmm.
They've tried the easy button. I've worked with so many athletes that have said, I've done all the other things, and they use different words than things, but I've done all that crap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to focus on what's actually going to move the needle.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah,
We're with you.
we can help you.
Because the reality is like, if there was an easy button to push, everyone would be pushing it.
Mm-hmm.
And the easy button that we found in human performance is that the easy button is the foundation, because you end up getting back to the things that you were told initially of what you need to do, but didn't take seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And really, really owning that foundation is where it changes. And now, so now we can get to the second part of like, okay, well, do these supplements actually work? And actually, one other thought came up before we switched to that
Okay.
part of it. The last part I want to put up, and the reason I say this is because, when I started off working, I worked a lot in high school sports. And when I was in high school sports, I never realized that our running back taking ibuprofen before and after every game would be a problem.
Mm.
It was like, oh yeah, this guy gets banged up all the time. He's running into 200, 300-pound people. Like, yeah, dude, take that ibuprofen. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you're going to need that. And then being in the locker room and seeing the amount of ibuprofen use of like, oh, this is a solution to my sore body. This is what allows me to go out on the battlefield and get the job done. And then that carries over to life after competitive sport
Mm-hmm.
of, well, I need to keep going. So let me pop the ibuprofen, let me pop the Advil. And hey, if you need it, you need it. I'm not here to judge that. But what I am here to say is that if you are taking over the counter pain meds like ibuprofen and Tylenol repetitively, there is some research showing that can inhibit testosterone production as well. So that's another factor of like, hey, I'm going to take the testosterone supplement as I take the ibuprofen, and I'm not going to work on the other things as to why do I have this discomfort that's requiring me to use ibuprofen or Tylenol.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe we can shift that, and then you won't even need to think about the supplement because production will change based off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So over the counter ones specifically, because
Right.
again, when it gets into prescriptions and medical reasons, like there's a time and place, and we don't know the whole background, so I'm not going to say that part of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course.
So the supplements
Yes, dive into
that
that.
we talked about, choose the Wheaties over the supplements. And I don't want to sit here and pretend like supplements are never the answer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because when supplements are used as a supplement and not a replacement, they can be powerful. Creatine monohydrate is one of those, right? Your main source of creatine should come from your diet, but then when you supplement it with the powder, that can be helpful. If you're not getting it from your diet or from actual food and the source is only the powder, that has now become a replacement. That's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So supplements can be helpful when used appropriately, but for them to be used appropriately, they have to remain a supplement, and we have to show that there's actually evidence against a placebo that creates a benefit and that it's safe to take.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't do that, the risk is higher than the benefit. And right now, supplements as a whole in the testosterone world, because the one that we referenced, Nugenics, the push is that it's not a medicine, it's naturally occurring substances put together into this formula that'll help boost your testosterone. And I don't know all the pieces that are in there because I would imagine it's proprietary and it's not given out to the public. But there are some other ones being researched, such as ashwagandha, Tongat Ali, a few other ones. And the reality right now is that these things need more research done on them.
Mm.
They're showing some promise, but a lot of things show promise in the early stages of being studied. And as more studies are done and the methodology gets better, it ends up being a big flop. Creatine ends up not being that because there's over 20 years of research now that has shown the benefit outweighs the risk. For these other supplements, they're not showing that at this point. So then people go, well, I don't want to wait.
Mm.
I don't want to wait 20 years and now it shows that it's good and I could have been taking it for 20 years and living a better quality life because I was taking it. And then we go to the next part of it, of that research is showing that in 50% of these supplements that they have banned substances in them.
Oh, geez.
And if you're a college athlete, if you're a professional athlete on any level, you think you're doing something good for your system. You failed the test because there was a banned substance in the thing that you were taking, and you didn't know that because it was behind a proprietary formula.
Yeah,
Like,
that's risky biz.
was that risk worth the benefit of you losing that competition or learning that season because you were taking something that you didn't know had these things in there? Now, if the research was very, very much showing like, yeah, this improves it all the time and it's being regulated and this is what is in the substance and it's clean, none of the stuff is on the substance or on the banned substance list, like, okay, hey, if you're taking care of the 99% and that 1% is going to get you a little bit better, great. But let's take care of that 99% first and let's make sure it's safe. And right now it's not.
Yeah.
So that's where we stand on it. And
Yeah.
I'm open to it as the research comes out and it
Yeah.
grows and shows it, like, hey, maybe at some point that is a recommendation similar to creatine or things like this. But right now it's not. And if you're worried you're going to be missing out on it 20 years from now, I could guarantee that there's other things that we could take care of first
Yeah.
before getting to that. There just has to be a willingness to say, yeah, I'm willing to take care of those things.
Yeah. 100%.
So, yeah, great question.
Awesome question.
Yeah.
I hope it's helpful for a lot of our listeners who have been curious about the side of things. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
you have a hope
Absolutely.
story?
I do have a hope story.
Yeah.
And I think it's well known on this podcast where we live. And since I've met Brandy, she always made fun of me saying that I have a Central New York Syracuse accent.
100%.
And I was like,
Sometimes it comes out.
what do you mean? I don't have an accent. I know people that have accents. And being a Central New Yorker, I just have I just have a neutral accent that is fine. And then I say things like calendar or challenge or elementary. And Brandy's like, are you kidding me? Do you not hear what you're saying? So we're talking to my niece about it the other day, but my hope story is that Brandy's been here for how many years now?
I moved to Syracuse in the summer of 2016, so it'll be 10 years
Yeah.
this summer.
Yeah. So describe the accent more. I guess we say our vowels very hard. It's very like harsh, the way that we say words, I guess.
Yeah. I can't believe this is your hope
So
story.
we were filming the other day, and I forget the exact line, but it had a word in it, and Brandy pronounced it, and she said something along the lines of, "You do this, and then it's gone,
Gone.
gone." And I was like, "Oh, there it is! I hear it. You have the Syracuse Central New York accent. There it is." So that's my hope story. It was funny. I listened.
Is that
back.
I'm a Central New Yorker now?
It was like back playing football when like something happened in a game, how you'd go to film and just rewatch it over and over and over again because the team was able to like kind of laugh with you and kind of at you with that.
You're laughing at me.
Well, you're laughing too, so I'm going to say it's laughing with you. But I was just listening to that over and over again. Gone.
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 Gone. Okay, but like calendar, how
Yeah.
do you say it?
Calendar.
No, you don't. You're just trying to copy me now. We'll put it to a vote if people are listening and want to comment in what if they hear the Central New York accent with us at all, or if we're just making it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be interested.
You definitely have one. Oh man, great hope story. Was
Yes.
not expecting that.
Well, thank you for listening, Tyler. Thank you for that question. Have a great week. And remember, high performance isn't just about using the strategy of hope. It's about becoming hope.
Thank you for listening to the Hope Not Nope podcast. Please subscribe and share this episode. This podcast is for educational and personal development purposes only and is not considered health or medical advice. For personalized support, connect with a Hope Coach at hopenotnope.org.